Hi, I'm Dr. Fiorai, giving you common sense solutions to everyday problems. Many of us have watched the many seasons of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and it's partly because of the entertainment and also because of it being a social construct. We are vicariously experiencing their relationships, and there are the subjects of 25 or more people in romantic situations. They're candidates, but we're also watching to see if love can be found within that construct. It is with that hope that fuels America's obsession with the franchise, and it's also with that hope that it springs eternal through each iteration of the show that maybe, just maybe, we can find that lasting love. The problem is the inherent paradox of The Bachelor, which is the subject of this discussion. Is it physical attraction that sparks love, or is it something else altogether? And if it's something else, then why do the people that we deem worthy are overlooked by the object of the contestants' affections? Then why are the most attractive contestants eliminated and the so-called star ends up with a person that is frequently viewed as a long shot winner or abjectly underwhelming? So this is the thing we're going to talk about and discuss. And we're going to also discuss this in the context of why the success rate of The Bachelor over the course of the franchise is a paltry 17% success rate. And how does this relate to real world relationships? So let's examine that. But before we do so, let me give you some somewhat alarming statistics to think about. Did you know that 50.2% of Americans are single? That may or may not be alarming to some people because that accounts for many people who are happily single by choice. But what of the people who are part of the alarming statistic on the other side of the coin, which says that 50% of marriages end in divorce in America? Now, The Bachelor could be a microcosm of what we should be or should not be focusing on when we look for a meaningful relationship, but that's just something that exists. Those statistics, they're there and they're indisputable. Now, some of the stars may have secretly used the experience to catapult their careers or to garner their 15 minutes of fame, yet the couples who are either married, which at this point number 7, or the other 10 or so who are in pending relationships, they prove that most people are sincere in finding lasting and fulfilling relationships. Now, let's look at what strategies or mindsets are either successful or counterproductive and doomed to abject failure in the context of the show. The first thing is to dispense with the 20-second myth that is anecdotally based on biology. It states that a woman decides within the first 20 seconds whether or not she will be intimate with the man. Now, this snap judgment may or may not be true, but what it has done is destroy the possibility of millions of untold situations of finding a mate. Now, not giving a person a chance because of a lack of an instant chemical rush is ridiculous. Now, many people have had long marriages because that person decided to give the other person a chance. Perhaps the person later was in a flattering outfit or is found to have had a sexually attractive figure or physique in different clothing. Now, the person who made the rush to judgment could not see as much and would miss out on a person who in actuality did have the physical chemistry with that person that they were talking about initially that they didn't. In other words, be open-minded if the person seems to have the qualities that you seek. Maybe in the next encounter that you have with the person, that spark will ignite into a raging fire. You just don't know. Don't change yourself to become what a person wants. If you aren't that person right now, that's okay. But changing yourself into someone just to make someone else happy and to be compatible with that person or to get that person to like you and or love you, that goes against your principles, and that's a recipe for disaster. An atheist or an agnostic person who believes that there is no God, but pretends to believe that they believe in God to foster a relationship is living a lie, and it's on borrowed time. That's the same with a person, let's say, who is celibate, but makes a promise to become intimate with the right partner. That person is treading on thin ice, particularly if this is more of an incentive or an enticement than an actual fact. If a person does not accept the present you, don't promise a future version of yourself that you may not feel comfortable assuming. Be truthful about your expectations and deal breakers. If you want children, don't say that you don't in order to foster that relationship and later change when you're deeply involved with that person. This will be a sore spot, I promise you, and a source of resentment on both sides. If you dislike pets, don't act as though you are okay with pets or you're okay with them and you can learn to love them or whatever, because people have a deep emotional bond with their pets. Some of them look at their pets like children. So don't act like you're something that you're not. That's the short version. Whatever your dislikes are, your pet peeves or your no-nos, do not give a person a false impression of how important they are to your well-being. Choose someone who will be kind, considerate, and loving to you rather than someone who is a person that has an edge or keeps you in a constant state of turmoil. Some women say that they are attracted to, quote, bad boys, end quote, and tortured souls, yet this may just be about the person's not being ready for a serious relationship. Now, the prospect that a bad boy will cheat on you gives you an out in not finding a deep relationship, since the probability is higher for this type of person for it to happen than with a good guy. This is not to say that a woman should date or, so to speak, settle or marry a milquetoast nice guy that can be pushed around or yes man. Rather, a good guy who is strong and dependable and will be a good, strong match for you. Remember, there are sayings such as all that glitters is not gold and never judge a book by its cover for a reason. They exist to give you this message that you have to see beyond the cover and read the book. Now let's go back to The Bachelor for a moment for examples. Hannah Brown had good guys, Peter Weber and Tyler Cameron, as two of her three final choices, yet she somehow decided upon bad boy Judd, and he had a secret relationship, and she ended up having to terminate her relationship and her engagement with Judd. Claire Crawley decided on sight, allegedly, that Dale Moss was going to be her future husband after like the 20 seconds that I spoke about earlier. Now, after they dated for a few months after their so-called engagement or their de facto engagement on camera, they split. However, in the case of Tayshia Adams, she had arguably better choices from an aesthetic standpoint with other contestants and candidates, but she ultimately chose everyday guy Zach as her fiance. So what's the moral of this story? We should look at the entire picture when searching for love. Some people even limit their decision-making processes to finances, and while finances are important, let's go back to another saying: love will find a way. I once heard an old man say this: I'd rather be with a wise man in hell than with a fool in heaven. Now give that saying a thought for a minute, and then you'll see in what context this all falls into play. I'm Dr. Feelright. Thanks for watching, and as usual, have a great day.